Okay, so here I have what I call a better array, but whatever. Okay, I created a new integer array. This thing has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in it, 5 elements, so called elements in the array. The index numbers, remember though, are index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. So when we look at the outputs down here at the bottom, when I output better array 3, you have to understand that's not the third thing in the list. That's the biggest mistake people make. It's 0, 1, 2, 3. So that first item is going to output the number 47 for me. Index 3 is actually the fourth item in the list. Okay. My second number is better array 1 is actually correct because the second number, remember index 0, index 1, the second number is 13. That's index 1. Okay, so that's kind of an important concept to get down. Now, some people have already asked, yes, you can do arrays of integers. That's all I've done so far, but you can do arrays with doubles, so I can just do a list of decimals, if you will. Remember, if I were to change one of these like this just to the number 3, when it gets dumped into the array, it's going to change to 3.0 because it's got to be a double. I can do string arrays, so I can just do arrays of me, you, and them. Okay, I can do character arrays for char, but we don't do that. It's not AP material, so we're not going to be covering it. You can do a list of booleans. You can have just a list of trues and falses, if you'd like. So you just can have arrays of any type if you want. That's the safest way to put it. And so when you look at these items, you have to remember that this creates a memory for 5 integers. That's basically what this does. It creates a slot for 5 integers. They're all 0, I guess, if you will. This would create a slot for 7 doubles. They're all 0s. This would create an array for 3 strings, but there's nothing there. They're actually null. Null means empty. It's not 0. It just means it's empty. Nothing there. This boolean, notice if I set this up, it reserves an array list or array for 4 booleans, and if I don't declare them, they all start as false. Okay, if I don't declare it or tell it what it is, it's assumed that you want false. So that's kind of how that works. So now we get into this whole idea of how do we fill an array. So that's where I want to kind of jump back into NetBeans to talk about how could I fill an array more efficiently. So with that being said, I'm going to start with I'm going to go back here and kind of get rid of this. And I want to fill my array with, and well, I'll start real easy. Okay, I'm going to change the size of this to 10 numbers. And what I want to do is I want to fill it with the index number. So I want the array to have 10 elements, and I just want the elements to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember, 9 will be my last one because of that 0 in the beginning. So you always are you're gonna go through arrays with for loops. In this whole unit for the next 2 weeks, you're gonna be doing for loops like crazy. So it's very important to understand for loops. And so what I do is I'm gonna set up basically my counter, but my counter is really my index number, just like I did in the previous problem. So I'm gonna go int I, and then like we did before, I is less than, but it's got to be less than 10. And I'm going to go I++. But what I want to do is I want to take my array I. So remember, it's going to be my array 0, my array 1, my array 2. And I want to fill it with I. That's really what I said I wanted to do to begin with. And now I want to prove to myself that I actually did it. So I need another for loop to print it. So I'm going to have another for loop. It's basically going to look the exact same. Sorry about that. There we go. Thank you. I'm going to fill this, or print this, I should say, but everything's going to look the same. I'm just going to cycle through the array again. This time I want to print it, so I'm going to print my array I. And I would like the spacing in there so that I know for sure that I don't have any double digits in there. Run this thing, and again, guess what? I don't want the ln there. Run that thing again, and there it is. Okay, so my array is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, But let's say I would like, instead of those numbers, I want all evens. I'd like to go 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, whatever. Well, then I would just go up here and make a change. I would say, hey, just double them all, 2 times I. And now when I run this thing, I'm going to get, there they are. I'm just doubling the index numbers is what I'm doing. If I don't want the 0 there, because 0, I'm like, I want a count. I want to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right? Then I'd have to find a way to change that up here. Well, a couple ways you could do it. But really what I'm doing is I'm saying skip the first I, don't use the 0. So what I'd do is I would change it this way. I'd go I plus 1. And now I think I'm skipping the first I, right? And I would run this, and it will give me 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way up to 20. Okay, that's one way to do it. Now there's kind of another sneaky way to do this, and it's the way you're going to have to do it eventually. So another way here would be not to use the 10, because you might not always know how long the array is, or you might not want to go read back through 7 pages of code to find out how long the array is. So you are allowed to do it this way. You can go, as long as I is less than my array.length, and it will now find the length of that array for you, and it knows that it's 10. And when I run this, I'll get the same answer because I haven't messed anything up. And that means here I could also put my array.length and do it that way and still get the same answer. That's actually the most efficient way to do it because then you don't have to worry about how long the array is. And so this one cycles through and fills it with some stuff. This one cycles through and prints each one for you. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of for loops in this when you get going here.